Okay, apparently this is take 3. On the first video I was trying to make this morning, doing the same walk, something came over the screen and apparently at that point stopped the video, and when I got rid of it, it started a whole new video. So that started take 2, which I didn't realize was take 2. So now I'm on to take 3. So good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning. For me, it still feels like Monday because my first day of work is a Monday night. But it's Tuesday morning. It's about 9:30 in the morning. It's a balmy 76 degrees outside, so it's nice and cool. And it's a good time for a walk. I just want to kind of give you guys an update of where I'm at, where I came from. This is just going to be a shortened version of my entire story, but just like the key points, so you kind of know where I'm at. I started carnivore on, I believe it was April 17th, 2024. I don't know how many months that is now. Now it's August 25th or 26th, I guess it is. I work nights, so forgive me. I never really know what day it is. What the date is, excuse me, or the day for that matter. Keep in mind, between my work schedule and my commute, I'm out of the house 15 hours a day. My commute takes about 2 or 3 hours each way, depending on trains and how quick everything connects. And then if I do any overtime, well, you get the point. But the overtime usually falls on my days off, and when I don't have overtime, I'm trying my best to spend time with my family. So my schedule is packed, and it's tough to make videos sometimes. And I really want to do an in-depth video on my channel of my story. People seem to like it, and I really want to go into kind of a deep detail on what I've been through and what got me to carnivore. So that being said, the abridged version. At my heaviest, I was 275 pounds. I would like to say that was enough to make me change my diet, but it wasn't. I would like to tell you that severe diabetes and severe complications from diabetes was enough to make me change my diet. I would like to say that 2 major surgeries, one with a life-threatening illness, made me change my diet, but none of those did. Like I've said in other videos, sugar is not food, it's a drug, and I was as addicted as it gets. And it really took something to terrify me, which is crazy because all the things I went through were terrifying, but none of them really scared me. So I was at 275 pounds, and one last things that spooked me is I started losing weight without dieting. I was eating maniacally, anything and everything I get my hands on, bringing enough food for a week to work and finishing it in an hour, and then continuing the process when I got home. It was just a horrible scenario, and I'm dropping weight. So I went from 275 to 255, which is 20 pounds, without changing a single thing diet-wise. So between that, and I had some blood pressure issues starting to pop up, my pulse was starting to raise. It really kind of spooked me, which sounds ridiculous because what is heart rate and pulse when you in hospital having emergency surgery, and that doesn't scare you. But for those of you who know my story, you already know. For those of you who don't, I'm hoping within the next couple of videos, I'll get into the real deal. So maybe this weekend I'll sit and do a full video. It's just I'm trying to figure out the format so it doesn't just sound like I'm running off at the mouth. But since then, at my lowest, I got down to about 194 pounds. I didn't stay there. Not because I didn't want to. It's just not what my body did. But would I like to get on the scale and see 194? Yes. Do I get on the scale anymore? No. What I recognized, one, through all the different Facebook groups I belong to and different people I talk to that are on carnivore, and the different people I follow on YouTube that are strong carnivores. The scale is great for carnivore at the beginning because you lose weight like a drug addict. It just falls off you, which was fantastic. And it gets you excited about looking at the scale, So sometimes I would get on a scale 2 or 3 times a day because the changes would happen that fast that sometimes I would see a change in a day. My first day of carnivore, I lost 4 pounds. So I kind of got into that rut, and when the weight stopped falling off, it kind of discouraged me. And thank God I didn't fall off the diet, but I was really stressed out about it. And the problem with that is, if my reason for doing this wasn't as strong as it was, I might have quit. And I know a lot of people who have quit. They get to the 6-month mark and the weight loss slows down, or the 3-month mark and weight loss slows down, or whatever the case is. So I'm going to say this just as a little side note. The scale is good at the beginning, but when the weight stops falling off, you better have some measurements of yourself. You better have strong consistency, because it's going to test you. Because the weight doesn't always fall off the entire diet. Does it depend on how much you're eating? Yeah, I guess it kind of does. I'm not a real big believer in calories in, calories out, and I tested the theory. I reduced drastically how much beef I was taking in. I was eating anywhere from 4 to 7 pounds of beef a day, and now I'm eating, if I eat 2.5, 3 pounds a day, it's a lot, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't lost a pound, and I'm okay with that. Okay, this not losing a pound thing is a negative, and I'll tell you why. Now, up until you guys saw me start doing the wind sprints and the walks, when that change, that shift happened in my videos, that's when I started exercising. I didn't start exercising for months, then finally tell you guys about it. Pretty much day one, I started doing the videos. So I didn't do any weightlifting. I didn't do any exercising. My job is a physical labor job, but my job has always been a physical labor job. It was the type of job I had before I became carnivore, and it's the type I'll have for the next 18 years till I retire. So here's the thing. When you are losing weight on carnivore, it's great. God bless you. It's awesome. But when it stops, that's when you need to have, before pictures of yourself, you need to have measurements. Because although you are not losing weight, I promise you, your body is changing. My body looks drastically different now than it did 4 months ago. In my eyes, like I see the details. I look at pictures. When I first lost the weight at carnivore, I went to my son's graduation. I was like 3.5 months in. And in the t-shirt I was wearing, I thought I looked incredible. I was so proud of how I looked. I was so excited about the weight loss. I thought everybody's going to look at me and say, wow, this guy looks great. And then it was my son's graduation, so there was a bunch of pictures taken. And of course, I look at the pictures and I don't know, like anytime I see somebody drop weight fast, their body just doesn't look right. It looks almost sloppy. Again, I wasn't lifting weights. I wasn't doing any exercising. I was just focusing on the diet. And my chest started to hang weird. My shoulders looked frail. I don't like to look weak. I like to have a little bit of an aggressive look. I like to look like I could cause harm if somebody came in my house uninvited. You know what I mean? So when I looked at those pictures after the diet, I was a little frustrated. And I made my promise to myself that I would just do this diet and see where it takes me. I wanted to feel what the full effects of carnivore and only carnivore were before I did any working out. And then over time, you go to social events, people take pictures, you're curious about how you look, you're taking selfies, you're taking pictures of yourself in the mirror, you're doing all these things. And without really realizing it, I was building muscle. You know, now look, am I ripped? Absolutely not. Do I still have a decent amount of fat on my body? Absolutely. Is my chest more muscular? Yes. Are my arms more toned? Absolutely. Do I feel better? Do I look better in my clothes? Absolutely. If I don't lose another pound, if I don't gain another ounce of muscle, I'm completely happy with the way my body looks right now in clothes. Outside of clothes, I could still use a little work. But you know what? It'll come. It'll come. I'm starting to do other things. I'm starting to work out more. I'm starting to walk more. I'm starting to exercise. I'm going to get there. I do have to figure out a new workout because although it is 73 degrees today in New York, it's August and the hint of fall is on its way, and then winter will be knocking on the door. And I don't know that I want to be doing this walk in 0 degrees, you know, or snow, or whatever this winter has to offer us. So I'm gonna have to make a new plan, whether it's a gym membership or there's a home workout that I'm interested in that I did years ago that I really enjoyed, and I saw great effects from. If you're familiar with Insanity, it's a very intense workout. It's really, really, really a struggle to do, but man, the benefits are incredible. But all those things being said, every time I think about it, I get a lump in my throat. It's hard. So that's something I'm going to kick around a little bit, just like I did with carnivore. I'll kick it around for a while. When I finally have enough, I'll probably start doing it. But back to my initial thing. Forget about the scale. You know, use it. You get on a scale once every couple of weeks or once a month. You know, see if you're actually losing weight. That's a great thing. But pay attention to your body. Pay attention where your clothes fit. Pay attention to your measurements. You know, and if you can afford to do it, treat yourself to some new clothes when your clothes stop fitting. Nothing will make you feel better than a nice fresh outfit. Look, these shirts, these are $5 shirts. I have 30 of them in my closet. I have gray, red, blue, green, seafoam green. I have every color that they sell, and every time I go to the store, I buy 2 or 3 more. You know, and I'm a sloppy person as far as, like, I don't watch my clothes while I'm doing things. If I'm doing dishes, I'm probably splashing something on myself. If I'm fixing my car, I'm getting grease on myself. If I'm outside playing around, I'm getting dirty. So anytime I see a shirt has a couple of stains on for $5, I either turn it into a rag or throw it away, and I go buy myself a new shirt when I go food shopping, because these shirts are at Walmart. So treat yourself to some new clothes. Like I said, I get more compliments on those $5 shirts than I do on the more expensive clothes that I have. You know, and it gives you a little pop of color, so it's kind of nice. But make sure your clothes fit right. For guys, I'm not familiar with women, but for guys, this seam right here should fall on the edge of your shoulder, right where your shoulder starts to fall off. Not fall off, you know what I mean. That's where that seam should be. You know, it should fit you kind of snug. It should fit around your neck. You know, I hate when I have the video like this. Sorry. Little things like that. But you put on even a $5 shirt and it fits right, and you can see where you've lost weight, and people will notice. When you put on a new shirt that fits better than the shirts that are hanging off you because you lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is, that's when people say, oh my God, you lost weight. So there's a little Eben tip. Make sure your clothes fit you right. You know, I understand having a budget and trying to get as much out of a pair of pants or a shirt as you can. But if you're starting to second guess your diet and starting to feel some kind of way, take $20, go buy yourself a couple of cheap t-shirts or a pair of pants or something. It makes all the difference in the world. So basically what it boils down to is I'm down about 75 pounds overall. Like I said, I got one from 275. I lost about 20 pounds. Not dieting, just because diabetes was kicking my butt, and then the rest was carnivore. So from like 255, 260 down to like 194, 195, and then I put a few more pounds back on, which appears to be muscle. You know, it's not beach body muscle, but the tone of my arms is different, the shape of my arms is different, my shoulders, my collarbones are showing a little nicer, my chest looks a little better, my stomach's gonna be a labor of love. That I'm gonna have to put some work into, because like I said, I was 275 pounds. It is what it is, but I'm not being super critical about it. I'm just doing the best I can, and I am gonna step up the game as it goes on. I'm not walking or running as much as I was, because I get home from work and it's cold out. You know, it's in the 50s and 60s when I get home from work, and I spend all night in the cold because it's getting colder at night. It's just I got to change my game. So I usually wait till 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I go for walks around my complex, or I'll go back to the pond and do a couple quick laps. But I just don't have the same amount of time because I'm not doing it first thing in the morning. So that's the story. I lost a bunch of weight. I feel incredible. My diabetes is gone. My blood pressure is normal. My heart rate's normal. Actually, my blood pressure is fantastic. It's like 116/76, where it was really, really getting spooky. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it was getting spooky. And my pulse was sitting at about 100, and that's completely resting. I'm laying in bed with my head on a pillow, half asleep, my pulse would be 100. If I did any type of movement, it would be 115, 120. If I did any type of work, it would be 130 plus. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but coming from being the son of a father who had a massive heart attack twice and died from the second one, that terrified me. So the fact that my heart rate, my pulse and everything is back to normal, and even better than normal, because my pulse now is hovering between 60 and 70 beats a minute, you know, which I'm perfectly happy with. That's kind of where I'm at. So no body pain, no diabetes, no high blood pressure, no rapid pulse rate. I'm 49 years old, going to be 50 actually next month in September. I can run wind sprints if I want. I can have a foot race. I could play a little football. I could throw a frisbee and run around playing frisbee. You know, those are the kind of things I like to do. Not so much football, but the rest of it. With no struggle, you know. Doing this walk and talking at the same time 2 years ago would have been a struggle for me. I would have been out of breath, and I wouldn't be able to hold a sentence. I would have been stopping every third sentence and acting like I was thinking about what I was going to say. But I'd really be struggling just to catch my breath. So, well, that's the story. I'm going to get back to my house. I got only a couple hours to hang out with my girlfriend before it's time to rest and get some sleep for work, because I'm not going to have an easy night at work tonight. It's going to be back to the normal, same old process. You know, digging and scraping, all that madness. And I did work some overtime this weekend, so I'm adjusting to that too. Although my energy level is fantastic, I could use a break. So I'm going to go relax, watch some TV. I don't know what movie we're going to watch, what we're going to do, but we're just going to kind of hang out together. Like I said, I'm going to try and get together some time and do a long form video, probably 40 minutes to an hour. If you guys are interested in seeing that, it's going to be very detailed about all my health issues. For those of you who saw the Mac interview, and hopefully you'll see the Homestead How interview that's coming out any day now. I will let you know when it comes out. You'll know my whole story, but I would like to put one on my video. Alright, that's it for now. Stay healthy, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.